The famous writer and expatriate Gertrude Stein was among the first Americans to respond enthusiastically to European avant-garde art. She held weekly salons in her Paris apartment populated by European and American artists and writers. For Picasso, Stein's early patronage and friendship was critical to his success. He painted this portrait of her between 1905 and 1906 at the end of his so-called Rose period. He reduces her body to simple masses, a foreshadowing of his adoption of Cubism, and portrays her face like a mask with heavy-lidded eyes, reflecting his recent encounter with Iberian sculpture.
We're in the Metropolitan Museum of Art looking at Pablo Picasso's portrait of Gertrude Stein.
Standing in this gallery filled with paintings from the early 20th century, this really fits in, but the problem with that is that we don't recognize necessarily how revolutionary this painting seemed in 1906 when Picasso completed it.
There's a famous anecdote that goes with this painting. Stein was an important collector, she was a poet and a writer, and she asked Picasso to paint her portrait. According to Stein, she visited Picasso's studio 90 times.
And at the end of months of sitting, he actually scraped away what he had done on the face and came back to it later. So although he spent 90 sittings, the face itself was not painted with Stein in front of him. But the story that you alluded to is that when people saw this portrait, they said, this looks nothing like her. And Picasso is said to have responded, everybody thinks she is not at all like her portrait, but never mind, in the end, she will manage to look just like it.
Pablo Picasso was one of the greatest artists of the 20th century and was the co-founder of the Cubist artistic movement. Picasso was born in Malaga, Spain in 1881 to a middle-class family. He showed a talent for art at a young age and received formal training from his father, who was an artist and museum curator. In 1895, Picasso's sister died of diphtheria and the family moved to Barcelona, where his father began working at the Barcelona School of Fine Arts. Picasso's father then persuaded the academy to allow the 13-year-old Picasso to take the entrance exam, and he was admitted only 1 week into the often months-long admission program. Picasso's father then sent him to the Royal Academy in Madrid, but he stopped attending classes shortly after enrollment and then moved between Paris and Spain, often living in poverty and desperation.